The Viewpoints tab lets you create issues from viewpoints. The center pane lists all the viewpoints in your project. Each viewpoint also lists its folder path from the Saved Viewpoints pane. If the checkbox labeled Focus on Viewpoint is selected, it will display the selected viewpoint in the Navisworks view. You can sort the viewpoint list by clicking on the headers, the same way we sorted the issue list. You can also filter by the folder path by activating the filter at the bottom and selecting the folder paths you want included. An important note about linking viewpoints, which also applies to clashes. Each issue can have as many viewpoints and clashes linked to it as you want. However, each viewpoint or clash can only be linked to one issue. This ensures that you do not have redundant issues in the project. Next, we are going to create issues from viewpoints. First, select the viewpoints that you want to create issues for. To select multiple viewpoints, hold down Shift or Control. You have two options for creating new issues from existing viewpoints, as shown by these options in the Link to New Issue container. You can either link all the selected viewpoints to a single new issue, or you can batch create a new issue for each viewpoint, with each viewpoint linked to its corresponding issue. Let's link to a single new issue first. We're going to click the Viewpoints to Single New Issue option and hit Link to New Issue. This pops up the issue panel where you can create your issue fields as we've done before. If we go over to the issue pane, we can see our single new issue. And now you can see that all of these viewpoints that we selected are linked to issue number 1. Next, let's create a new issue for each viewpoint. Selecting my multiple issues, change this option to new issue for each viewpoint and hit Link to New Issue. Now as you can see, it generated new issues for each of the viewpoints that I selected. If we go back to the Issue tab, we can see them listed here. Notice how it set the description as the viewpoint title for each of these issues. You can go back and change this if you want, but that's just a shortcut to filling in your issues. To the right of the Link to New Issue container is the Link to Issue Number box. This will link all selected viewpoints to the issue that you select. Now we see that those issues have been linked to issue number 3. To unlink an issue from a viewpoint, select the viewpoint, then press the Remove Issue button. And you'll see that it has been unlinked. You can also create issues as you create new viewpoints using the Save New Viewpoint command. This will show a dialog to create the viewpoint. I'm going to navigate over to the area that I want to save the viewpoint. Go back to Issue Track and hit the Save New Viewpoint command. Next, we're going to type in the title for the viewpoint. Next, you have 3 options for the new viewpoint. You can either create a new issue with the viewpoint linked in, link to the last issue you created, or link to a specific issue number. Optionally, you can choose a folder path to save the viewpoint in. Let's create a new issue. It pops up our standard Create Issue pane, And as you can see, it auto-filled the description with the viewpoint title as a handy shortcut. You can change this if you want to. And now you can see that our new issue has been created. Next, let's link to the last issue. I'm going to go back to my Navisworks viewer and zoom into an area. This time I'm going to pull the angle down a little bit. And I'm going to select some objects around the viewpoint that I want to create by holding the space bar and box selecting. Now this time we're going to invoke the Save Viewpoint command a little differently. We're going to right click on our selected objects and hit Save Coordination Viewpoint. Now let's type in a title. We're going to have it linked to the last issue this time. And I'm going to set a folder path for it to save in. Now let's look at this option down here to rotate to plan north. When this checkbox is select, it's automatically going to rotate your viewpoint to plan north and zoom in on selected objects. This is a very handy shortcut. So we're going to select it and hit OK. You'll notice that it zoomed into the selected objects and rotated to plan north. It's also worth noting that because we're linking live viewpoints into issues, if you make changes to this viewpoint, it will still update in the issue. One last thing before we're done. Let's go back to the Issues tab. I'm going to select an issue we just generated, then hit View Edit Issue. Then I'm going to hit Edit Viewpoints. This screen is how we can see our linked viewpoints from the Issue tab. Notice that we can remove viewpoints, but we cannot add them from here. To add viewpoints, you must go to the Viewpoints tab. The same applies for the View Clashes button when we link in clashes. That's it for this video, and the next video we'll be looking at the Clashes tab.